Season 2 FC Wonderkid podcast, episode 32. Here are my great guest, one of the best sports commentators, in my opinion, in England, most definitely, Luca, JFTV. How are you feeling, my guy? Get you go bold, my guy. I did go bold, but I know you go bold with some takes, mate. How are you feeling, my guy?
I'm doing really good, Alex. Glad to be back as always, man. Thanks for having me on again, and can't wait to talk about everything we got lined up.
FIFA Club World Cup starting this weekend. Massive tournament that Juventus is in the tournament. Benfica and Porto are in the tournament, and we have to get into it, dive into it with some of the predictions. And this will be the first time on tape that I'm talking about Nuno Mendes after this MVP in the finals. I can tell you, bold expectations in this podcast. It's going to be insane. And obviously, we got to talk about Italy, because what happened to the Azzurri against the Norwegian national team? That, look, is it the time that now Haaland, Odegaard, Nusa, Svernipan, this young Wonderkid that's going to City, are they going to take over in the future? Let's wait and see. But starting now, FIFA Club World Cup predictions, Luca. How are you feeling as a Juventus fan? Are you excited? Do you think the prize pool, the bonuses are massively important for this transfer window? How are you feeling, Luca, about it?
Of course, I'm really excited for the new Club World Cup format. It's the first time they're doing this, so it's going to be really interesting to see how it runs, how successful it is, if people are sort of in tune with it or not. I've read that even for the opening game, they haven't sold out, or they're struggling to sell a lot of tickets, which is a big worry, to be fair, because they decided to do it in America themselves, FIFA. They thought, yeah, this is the best market to do so.
A price reduction of 250 euros.
Yes,
From the starting fee to what it is now.
I noticed big price reduction, which is obviously makes sense anyway, because football is for the fans. It's ridiculous, the prices of tickets nowadays. But yeah, look, I think if they did do it in Europe, I think the game probably would have sold out a lot quicker, mostly because the love for football is different compared to America. But I understand they want to grow the brand there, they want to grow the sport there, and obviously the money's in America, so it makes sense. But I'm looking forward to it. In terms of the prize money, I think it's really, really good. I think it's 120 odd million, I think, or something along those lines if you win, which is big money.
Pool, 1 billion for all teams.
Yeah, that's crazy. So that's going to be very, very beneficial to a club like Juventus at a minute where we need financial help as much as possible. We don't have the Saudi owners like a lot of clubs that can just throw money. So I'm really looking forward to it from a footballing point of view, and then obviously from an economic point of view, it's also going to be very beneficial to us. I don't know. I'm sure we'll get onto my predictions where I think Juventus could go, how far we could go, maybe in a second. So I'll let that one.
Starting in June 14th until the July 13th, it's going to be insane. These expectations are great. And another thing to go with what you said about being in the States, I completely agree. A FIFA Club World Cup in Europe, it's going to sold out. It's going to be insane. And Benfica Boca Juniors, that will be a match that so many people will watch. Mm-hmm. And a Porto Palmeiras in Europe, the amount of Portistas that will go to it. I'm not saying that in the States they won't go, but it's just the fees. It's so expensive. And the traveling. Exactly, Luca. But I believe it was picked to be the FIFA Club World Cup in the States as a preparation for the World Cup too.
100%.
So with the logistics, because the Copa America, I won't forget, the Copa America for me in the States was a flop. I'll be honest with you. Logistically, people were going into the stadium. Darwin Núñez said he wasn't safe with his family even at a given moment because he had to defend his family that were in the middle of the fans. So a lot has to be learned about football, about the culture, about the fans, and the FIFA Club World Cup is a beginning towards working towards the best World Cup possible in 2026. But we'll talk about Italy and Portugal soon in the podcast. But yes, you mentioned it, Luca. Predictions for the FIFA Club World Cup. Starting here with Group A, I have Al Ahly that's going to play Inter Miami in the first match of the FIFA Club World Cup tomorrow. Porto, Inter Miami, and Palmeiras. Could Lionel Messi and Inter Miami go through with Porto and Palmeiras, Luca?
I hope so, man. I hope so. You know, I'm a big Messi guy. I know. Not many people agree, but look, man. Messi wins the Club World Cup. Messi wins his 9th Ballon d'Or. That's what the streets are saying. That's crazy. I'm playing.
If Messi wins the FIFA Club World Cup, mates, I don't know what I'll do, but I would 100% need to go ball. It won't happen. It won't happen.
It won't happen. But we will be there for his 9th Ballon d'Or if it does happen. But no.
This guy, man. Oh,
No,
it's a
I
pity
think-
Ronaldo Cristiano is not in the FIFA Club World Cup, though.
Yeah,
Mentioning
I mean,
that.
I think people. I was reading that clubs could take him out on loan for the Club World Cup if they wanted to. But have you read this one?
happen.
But
Didn't happen.
it's not happening. So, but no, I think with this one, Porto, Palmeiras are probably the top 2. I think favourites, but I would love to see Inter Miami go through with. Well, I don't really care about the other one, but I'd probably be Porto. Porto, I think, will top the group.
Al Ahly is a very good team from Africa. They're one of the most decorated teams in football. They could surprise and beat Inter Miami, I'll be honest with you. But being at home, having the high expectations, I think that's going to be a huge factor. So me, as a Portuguese man, as a man who follows Porto throughout the years, it would be embarrassing for us to go out with Inter Miami and Lionel Messi. If Messi manages to knock out or Porto or Palmeiras, it's embarrassing for both teams. Embarrassing because the defense of Inter Miami is non-existent. It's non-existent. And Porto has Rodrigo Mora, Palmeiras, William Estevão, and their top European teams with big... Palmeiras, top South American team with big expectations. So I agree with you. Porto and Palmeiras, I believe, will go through. And William Estevão and Rodrigo Mora will show themselves to the world as 2 of the best Wonderkids in the world of football. Not named Lamine Yamal because that man is a cheat code, but Rodrigo Mora and Estevão, I'm absolutely sure they're going to be talked a lot more after this FIFA Club World Cup. So, let us know if you agree with Group A. Now, Group B, Atlético de Madrid, Botafogo, PSG, and Seattle Sounders. I believe we both agree that it's Atlético de Madrid and PSG going through, right, Luca?
100%. There's I would say there's like a 1% chance for the other 2 teams that they go through. I highly doubt they will.
And between PSG and Atlético de Madrid, PSG tops the group?
I think so. I think PSG right now are probably the strongest team in Europe, the most informed team. So I expect them to definitely top that group.
Sneaky Cholo Simeone. Simeone, in these types of preparation moments, he can be very cheeky. And a lot of people talking about the Real Madrid-Barcelona rivalry. If Atletico de Madrid have a big FIFA Club World Cup, that's a huge statement. Huge statement. And it's possible.
Of course.
But I'm gonna be safe here, and I'm also gonna agree PSG. With, topping the group and Atlético de Madrid going through. But I just want to say Botafogo could sneakily get a draw. Sneakily get a draw from one of these teams. Artur Cabral has just been signed off Benfica, so Benfica fans are very, very, very happy that he left for 15 million. And Joaquin Correa was signed as a free transfer to Botafogo. I understand that Thiago Almada is not there anymore, Luis Henrique is not there anymore, but still, they can surprise, and I like Renato Paiva as a manager. He's a good Portuguese manager too. And interesting enough, we didn't mention at the start of the FIFA Club World Cup talk, 4 Brazilian teams are in the FIFA Club World Cup in 32 teams. They're the nation with the most teams in the FIFA Club World Cup. So we could see a Brazilian team shocking the world. And that's one of my predictions at the end. But yes, going now to Group C, Oakland, Bayern, Boca Juniors, and Benfica. Come on, Luca. Come on, Luca. You got to back Benfica.
Definitely Bayern top. And I reckon Benfica will also finish second. But Boca Juniors, with their support, with their fans, I definitely think they're going to turn up in numbers and it will be really, really good games. And you never know, but I think, Bayern and Benfica will top the 2.
It's this Boca Juniors team, Kevin Zenon. There's very interesting names for sure. But yes, they're gonna have a tough time against Benfica. This is a Benfica squad that didn't win the league. They didn't win the Taça de Portugal. They lost the final. It's a team that is used to winning in Portugal, and now in the FIFA Club World Cup, this is an opportunity to fix things, to fix the status quo, to fix how they've perceived throughout the season, and it's an opportunity and the last dance of the most underrated footballer this decade, in my opinion, next to Thomas Muller, in my opinion. Di Maria. Di Maria is the man who carries Argentina next to Lionel Messi, but with no Di Maria, I believe maybe a Copa America or the World Cup wouldn't have happened because Di Maria is a clutch master, in my opinion. So Muller and Di Maria, 2 of the most underrated players ever in football,
Yeah,
in
for
my
sure.
opinion. And it's
I
the
agree.
last
I
dance
agree.
now at Benfica in the FIFA Club World Cup. So I just wanted to. I'm not a Benfica. I'm a Portuguese man, just like I'm backing Porto and Benfica. But I really want Di Maria to go to Rosario Central because he's leaving after this summer and leave and a happy ending. So let's wait and see if that's going to happen. And Bayern Munich are dark horses. Dark horses? No, you never can say Bayern Munich's a dark horse,
No,
really.
they're one of the favourites, I think, in the competition.
Exactly, exactly. And now, Group D: Chelsea, Flamengo, Esperance, and LAFC with Cheeky Hugo Lloris in goal.
Well, I watched LAFC actually live last summer. First time I ever went to watch a MLS game, and they were absolutely horrendous at football. They were worse than like some championship. No, definitely worse than championship teams. Worse than some League One teams I've seen in England. They are horrible. So, unless they've improved drastically within the last like 8 or 9 months, they're probably going to finish rock bottom or third. There's no way they're going to go through. Chelsea,
Yep.
Flamengo, I think will have it.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I believe both Chelsea and Flamengo will be going through. And my prediction is that Flamengo is the most successful Brazilian team in the FIFA Club World Cup. They're the club with most fans. That's
I agree,
most
yeah.
definitely. Filipe Luis, interesting manager. Interesting manager. Very young, and this is the time he can prove himself as a top manager next to Xabi Alonso at Real, next to other big names. So, and Maresca. Like, would you be surprised if Chelsea win the FIFA Club World Cup, Luca?
I think I would be surprised if they won it, Alex, but I don't think it's ridiculous to say they're probably the dark horses to win it. I think they could definitely go on a good run, potentially even make. I think they'll reach quarters, depending on who they face. But even maybe a semi-final charge, but I don't think they can go all the way. Also, big calls, they've left out Petrovic in the Club World Cup team. They left out, of course, Renato Vega, which I really am annoyed about because A, he would have been very useful to play for my team, Juventus, in the Club World Cup, which I think he's annoyed about as well. I think he wanted to represent Juventus for it. And Chelsea called him back and said, we're not even going to call you up to the team, which is, for me, is quite disrespectful to him, quite pointless as well. It doesn't really make any sense because even if you were to let him play for Juventus during that period, it's only going to help Chelsea because it's only going to boost his market value potentially if he plays well, or give more of a reason for Juventus to sign him on a permanent and have more eyes on him because he obviously played for Juventus from the start. Whereas in this Chelsea team, A, even if they called him up, he probably wouldn't start, even though I believe he should. I think he's good enough to start for that Chelsea team regardless. But B, leaving him at home is quite disrespectful and just unnecessary. So, but Chelsea's team is still strong nonetheless. I think they can go far.
And also Chalobah, another one that's been told that he won't be staying at Chelsea for the long run. The bad thing about Chelsea, Chelsea's a mad thing currently, because how can you predict the future of Chelsea in the next 3-5 years? It's incredibly bold, and the potential is to be one of the best teams in the world. That's
Yeah,
for
definitely.
sure. That's
I think
for sure.
this Chelsea team this year has improved so much. There, honestly, when you look at like expectations at the start of the season, I think they reached above and beyond everything. They got top four, won the Conference League. They played pretty well as well at times in the season. I think they're definitely starting to find their feet again. After Tuchel left, they struggled for a little bit where you didn't really know the identity of Chelsea. You didn't really know where this club was going to go. But now there's a pretty clear trajectory.
Maresca, Italian manager.
Yeah.
He knows his game.
I think when it comes to Chelsea and Italian managers, I don't think an Italian manager could ever fail there. You know, it's a love story. So
Ancelotti, Conte, Di
Matteo,
Matteo, the Champions League winner.
Yeah, of course.
And now Enzo Maresca that gets top four, playing no player above the age of 27. That is so mad. No player played above the age of 27. And they get this Conference League too, and Chelsea became the first team ever. I don't know if it's a flex because Real Madrid will never be this team to win the Champions League, Europa League, and the Conference League too. So good on you, Chelsea. Good on you, Chelsea.
I think it's a cool little. It's not like a crazy flex, of course, because like you said, Real Madrid would obviously win those other two if they were to play in that. But at the same time, like, it's a cool thing to have in the trophy cabinet. You know, you go on the stadium tour, you see all three next to each other. It's a cool little picture.
And Stevorov Palmeiras is going to Chelsea next season. Oh my days. But we'll talk more about that real soon. But yes, now going to Group E, River Plate, Monterrey, Inter de Milan, and Huara Reds. I don't know, honestly. For me, Inter and River Plate are obviously the two favorites.
The favourites,
Monterrey with Sergio Ramos. Could we see something with him doing something that we're not expecting?
I think, you know what we'll see, Alex? We'll see a red card. That's what we'll see.
You saw him was
100%.
already doing the kickboxing things. Sergio Ramos is obviously going to do something here. River Plate against Monterrey. And we got to talk here. Now's the time, mate. River Plate's best player is going to Real Madrid. Franco Mastatuono. And if you don't know the name, please remember, he's going to start for Argentina, and in my predictions, he arrives at Real Madrid, he starts for Real Madrid. This is one of the best Wonderkids in the world, no doubt in my mind. Rodrigo Moura, Estevão, Mastatuono, so much talent is appearing in football. I'm so excited, but Mastatuono is a guaranteed baller, people. Please remember the name, and the FIFA Club World Cup is a great opportunity to watch River Plate, Inter de Milan, Mastatuono playing against his team. So, new manager to at Inter. Shifu. I was not expecting that. What's happening? Simone Inzaghi went he's in the FIFA Club World Cup too. He went with the big money.
Al Hilal, yeah. I don't blame Inzaghi really for going. I think it was the right time for him to leave Inter anyway. I think even if they won the Champions League or the league even, I think it was a good time for him to go. You can't really blame him going to Al Hilal in this sort of situation. I think it's different as well for players and managers going to Saudi Arabia, mostly because managers, you can still be a top coach at a later age in your career. He's going there a few years. He's earning, 30-odd million a year. It makes complete sense for him. He can come back. Even if he doesn't win anything with Al Hilal, he can still come back and find a top club in Europe to coach. I don't think that's an issue.
And he arrives very early. He arrived last week, and the expectations now are him to have a good FIFA Club World Cup. So we'll 100%. Talk more when we get to Group H.
And they're the best team in Saudi Arabia, so they're probably going to win the league again. They walked the Saudi league. And then obviously Kivu is a bit of a rogue shout, I think, with Inter. I don't think it's a really, really good appointment, in my opinion, just because obviously he was a very, very good Inter player, was part of the treble winning team. He was a coach throughout the youth stages. So on one side, you could argue he knows the young players at Inter very well. So that could help him integrate them into the first team, which is obviously very beneficial to them because they have the oldest squad in one of the oldest squads, at least in Europe. I think the average age was about 30 years old, which is absolutely ridiculous. So let's be honest, this is the end of the Inter team we sort of have got to know over the last 4 or 5 years, the Conte team going into the Inzaghi team. So they definitely need a real rebuild in that sort of situation. In the sense of Kivu, he's only had 4 months as a first team coach at Parma, where granted he did well because he kept them in the Serie A. They were fighting relegation. But at the same time, Alex, when a young manager with not a lot of experience goes to a big club where the expectations are high, a lot of the time it is obviously sink or swim, and often they the managers struggle. We saw that with Thiago Motta at Juventus. I don't think Thiago Motta, Thiago Motta had a lot more experience than Kivu before going to Juventus. He obviously coached Spezia, Genoa, was successful with Bologna for their terms, and he struggled massively at Juventus, and he had a lot more experience than Kivu. So if I'm being completely honest, I don't think Kivu will win the league. I don't think they're the favourites to win the league. I think this is I really think they'll struggle next season. I think it will be a top 4 charge. And then they're having financial difficulties as well. Apparently, I've been reading issues with Zhang with fake sponsorships generating monies over the last few years, which obviously could result in transfer bans or points deduction if the Serie A takes action. But yeah, no, it's a big mess at Inter. I think right now they're probably in the biggest mess out of any club in the world.
I feel it, and a solution towards this money problem might be selling their best players. And
That's the thing. If they get points deduction or even relegated for it, well, they're gonna lose their best players for sure.
Bastoni should be a priority for every top team if anything happens financially to Inter. If Inter has a poor Serie A, if Inter has a poor FIFA Club World Cup, and if they look disorganized, I'm not used to seeing that happen now with Inter in the last 4 years. We're not used to, I believe.
No, in the last, really since Conte came in, he changed, because in the 2010s, they obviously, after the treble, they sort of had their banter era, so-called. But Conte sort of steadied the ship for them like he does for any club, really. And Inzaghi, made them the best team in Italy, so.
And Frattesi, top transfer that Inter did. Top transfer, a very good player. I was very surprised with how good
I read we're linked with him, actually, Alex. I read Juventus were inquiring about him. I think Frattesi's a good player. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm too convinced in the sense that it's the work rate he brings. Obviously, clutch moments as well. He's a really good impact sub, and he has the odd goal in him as well. But
True.
we'll
Let's
see.
wait
We'll
and
see.
see. We'll see. We'll see. So we both go with River and Inter de Milan going through. Now, Group
So yeah,
F here, Dortmund, Fluminense, Meloy, Sundowns, and Holsten HD. So, what do I believe is going to happen here? Because this South African team, I've heard a lot, and they might surprise with a second place. They could surprise with a second place. But obviously, Dortmund has to be the favorite. With new signing, Joe Bellingham.
Mr.
Joe
Joe.
Bellingham is now at Dortmund, and he's so similar to Jude. They've got the same haircut. It's like, what?
With the same haircut. Obviously, they're brothers, which makes a lot of sense. But I think Job. I think a lot of people are saying that is the wrong move for him because he's always going to have those comparisons to Jude at Dortmund. So I kind of understand where they're coming from. But I think Job wants to write his own story. Obviously, he's got Job on the back of his shirt. It doesn't say Bellingham. And look, at the end of the day, Dortmund help young players go to the next level. So for me, it makes a lot of sense him wanting to go to Dortmund, grow there, develop his game. I understand that the comparisons are always going to exist. Whether Job does better than Jude, then they'll say, oh, Job is a level up compared to Jude at Dortmund, or whether he does worse than Jude. There's always going to be them comparisons regardless of how it goes. But at the end of the day, Dortmund paid big money to Sunderland. He's been there before. He knows it. Well, he's not been there before, but his brother's been there before. He's probably told him a lot about it. He knows the environment. He's probably visited
Family knows
Jude
it.
a lot there. Family knows it well. I think the club is going to treat him very well as well. So look, all those things got to play into it. So I think it's a good move for Job, and I don't think his like ceiling is as high as Jude's at the same age. But at the same time, I still think he can have a good career and become a good player for sure.
It's no coincidence that both Joe Bellingham and Jude Bellingham, one of the best midfielders in the world, are at the level of football that they are. The parents have done a great job guiding these two educationally and obviously making the right career choices. Both the mother and the father, I have to give big
100%.
congrats because this
they're-
is the difference. It's a mega difference.
Yeah, I was reading, Alex, that the one parent stays with one son, the other one stays with the other son. They got a really good system going, which keeps them disciplined. It keeps them locked in, and I can tell obviously I don't know them personally, but I can tell that they put football sort of above any other distractions in the world. So they're very I think they're ahead of a lot of young players in the world that probably get distracted a lot by money, fame, everything. So
Look,
I
man,
respect that a lot.
I will talk about Portugal, but look, Joe Bellingham and Jude Bellingham, the Bellingham brothers, could they be the ones to get the World Cup coming home back to England one day?
I don't know, man. Maybe potentially. I think England have a lot of talented players. There's no denying how good the team is. It's just with England, it's always a situation where you can have all the names in the world, but if you don't have a system in place where the players know each other, play well together, gel together, you're never going to win these big international tournaments. And obviously, back in the 2000s, it was always a question of the hatred, the rivalry between Chelsea, United, Arsenal, Liverpool, all these clubs where players didn't really get along, they didn't really talk to each other. Now I do think it's a little bit different football. I think they're more friendly. But again, even the other day, the England team under Tuchel, like top manager, top players, but they're not playing the way we'd all expect them to play. So I'm not sure, Alex. I think with the World Cup next year, obviously it's still a year to go, so it's hard to say the predictions yet. But I think England are one of the better teams in the world, but I'm not sure if they'd win it.
I don't think they'll win it. No. Winning it, no. Well, Tuchel has a long job to go. Let's always wait and see what Tuchel's going to do. And obviously, like decisions, like a player like Livramento, I watched the under-21s of England, baller, man of the match. It's like, I think to myself, how wasn't Tina in the first team? Tino Livramento, like he could have even represented Portugal, but that's a whole different conversation. So yes, Dortmund going through. And Fluminense, I'm going to say second. But the South African team, I've been told they're very, very tricky. Very tricky. Now, Group G with Al Ain, Juventus, Man City, and Casablanca. This team, mate, has so many fans. Why that Casablanca, mate? It's going to be a great match for sure. Juventus, Casablanca. So, Luca, JFTV Luca, makes complete sense to ask you, how are you feeling with this group, mate? And do you expect to top it?
Not top, to be honest, Alex. I think Manchester City will be the favourites. I think we'll go through. I expect us to sort of finish second, but topping it will be very, very tough. City have brought in obviously Ryan Shirky, they've brought in Reinders, they've brought in some really, really interesting players. So I think they're going to be a really good team. But at the same time, they're new. These players are new, so will they start straight away in the Club World Cup? Will they adjust so well?
They will.
That's another question, but I still,
Reinders,
yeah.
you know Reinders, man. You know Reinders.
These are
from
top
AC
players.
Milan.
Yeah, these are top players. So I do think they'll top it. And I hope we can finish second and go through to the round of 16. But even if we finish second, we're going to talk about the next group. So I know we're going to play. So our journey will end there. Yeah, our journey will end there, man.
Yo, my days.
Not quite returning to Turin because the game will be in Miami. So.
Exactly. See, we're used to Champions League, and yes, that is the case. But just wanted to talk. You mentioned briefly about the transfers of Man City. Exactly, man. Man City showed to the world they had a bad season. They react immediately. Absolutely. Ryan Aït-Nouri, Reinders, and Ryan Cherki are two guaranteed players that will go to this team. They could start many games. Many people say they won't be starters. It's insane. Reinders, if you don't consider that Reinders will be a starter for Man City, and Cherki also, I think you don't know ball. I really think you don't know, because you watch the City team. You watched the City team last season. They needed versatility, creativity. They needed someone to have an impact. And Ryan Cherki has that, not charisma. Charisma is not the word, but it's the one-to-one confidence in himself that no one can stop him. Cherki has that confidence. His body, the way he plays, he's very similar to Riyad Mahrez in that style of play, of confidence in himself. So Cherki, for 35 million, I believe is going to be one of the biggest bargains of the summer transfer window. I really thought he'd go to United. But going to City, right career choice. And I absolutely think he's going to be a French national team starter real soon, because we all know he's got the quality. And now being coached by Pep Guardiola, he's going to create a monster with Ryan Cherki. We saw him when he came on against Spain. He came on, things changed. Immediately. Didier Deschamps, that's another story too. Maybe he has to go. But yes, this is what he'll do for City. And in the FIFA Club World Cup, that's where they get the chance to experiment. So yeah, Juventus, can Ángel Diaz, could he be the big wonderkid of the tournament, Luca?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think right now he's our best player. I think he's our most creative outlet. He's our most reliable player. So if everything goes through him. So I definitely expect him to be the best player for Juventus. And heck, who knows if he can take us far. I think he could be in that conversation, maybe young player of the tournament or player of the tournament. But yeah, he's a top player, top talent. If I'm being completely honest, man, I'm not too bothered about the Club World Cup. Like, I just want us to perform in the Serie A. That's all I need again. Like, for me, this trophy.
It helps with a Gyökeres signing.
It helps financially, but like, unless we top the group, I really don't see us getting past the round of 16. So
going now, we're Group H: Real Madrid, Red Bull Salzburg, Pachuca, and Al Hilal. We both go Real Madrid topping the group, but who's your second?
Al Hilal.
Simone Inzaghi, Cup tournament manager, right?
Yeah, I know he's obviously new to the club, but look, Al Hilal, the best team in Saudi, the team's well established already. I think they'll perform, and then with Inzaghi on top, I think they'll finish. But I think this is the thing. I think Real Madrid will top it, and if we finish second, we play them in the round of 16. So it's kind of pointless.
But Real Madrid, what are your expectations with Xabi Alonso? Is he going to be immediate? I think he's going to be so good. I really think Real Madrid are going to be scary next season.
I think it'll be good, but I don't think they'll be better. I don't think they'll beat Barcelona to anything. I still think Barcelona are the best team in Spain, man.
Mate, I'm a Barca fanboy. Okay, I love Lamine Yamal. I love what they do. I love him less now with this Cristiano Ronaldo talk. That we'll talk in a couple of minutes. But want to state this: Real Madrid wins the FIFA Club World Cup with Xabi Alonso. Kylian Mbappe becomes a top 5 contender for the Ballon d'Or immediately, if not top 3, because he's the Golden Boot. He wins Pichichi, and even so, he got owned by Barcelona and Lamine Yamal domestically in every single tournament. FIFA Club World Cup is a chance to change the narrative. New manager, new midfield, things will change with the Xabi Alonso system. So I could see Mbappe earning the top 3 of the Ballon d'Or by winning the FIFA Club World Cup. And here at the end, just wanted to mention the favorites to win by Opta. In 10th, Benfica with 3%. In 9th, Juventus, 4%. Atletico de Madrid in 8th with 5%. Dortmund, 5% also. Chelsea In sixth, 8% chance to win the FIFA Club World Cup. Real Madrid, 10%. I think that's very slim.
A bit low.
That's very slim for Real Madrid, Opta. I don't know if your AI is correct here.
Yeah, that one, not sure.
Inter de Milan, 12%. Ooh, I think they're incredibly wrong here, putting Inter ahead of Real. Bayern Munich, 13% chance to win the FIFA Club World Cup. And the top two, Man City, 18%. And PSG, the favorites, 19%. And this is, thank you for watching until now our predictions for the FIFA Club World Cup. And now I gotta ask, PSG wins the FIFA Club World Cup, mate. Who wins the Ballon d'Or, Luca?
Lamine Yamal.
But no, man.
Look,
Nuno
man.
Mendes should win it ahead of Lamine Yamal, man. Nuno Mendes owns Saka, owns Salah, and owns Lamine Yamal completely. That was the worst game I saw of Lamine Yamal.
Look, there's no disputing Nuno Mendes. I'm saying it like you. Mendes is one of the best. He is the best left back in the world, and he's one of the best fullbacks in the world for sure. If not the best fullback in the world this season, and he'll be in the team of the year.
He's just the best,
but look,
man.
If he wins the Ballon d'Or, the game's gone.
No.
He can't win the Ballon d'Or.
Would you give Nuno Mendes the top 3 for the Ballon d'Or?
No way.
Hey,
I wouldn't even give
can't
him.
do that.
I wouldn't give him top 10. I wouldn't give him top 10.
No, hey, Nuno Mendes should 100% be in the top 10, man. Nations League, Finals MVP, Champions League Team of the Season.
Look, if he's
and
top
he was
10,
detrimental for Salah not to win the Ballon d'Or, for Lamine Yamal not to win the Ballon d'Or. I think Dembele is now the favorite. Nuno Mendes is the man that makes that happen at the age of 22, mate.
Look, I think he's great, but if you put him top 10, he's probably like 10th. You understand? He's just pushing it. He can't be top 5, no way. If he gets top 5,
Let me ask you this. I'm trying to convince you on tape here with the FC Wonderkid community. Tell me better performances from a left back in a match than Nuno Mendes against Spain.
No, but it's probably one of the best ones. But this is where you said left back. You understand? For me, left backs, they don't win Ballon d'Or. Fullbacks do not win Ballon d'Ors. They will never win the Ballon d'Or.
No, I was reaching with that. I guarantee. But
I understood 10, that one. But
Carvajal got top 10, no?
He did, but I didn't agree with it. Do you see? Like, I know, obviously, I don't have the final say. So, but my personal top 10, I think as a defender, I think it's really, especially a fullback, it's really hard to push into it. Like really, really hard. Like even like them times when Dani Alves was at the top, Marcelo was at the top. I don't really know if I had them ever top 10 Ballon d'Or in those sort of peak eras. But this is the thing for me: the top 5 in no order: Lamine, Rafinha, Dembele, Pedri. I got Mbappe and then Salah. That's top 6 for me.
No Vitinha, man. No Vitinha.
Vitinha top 10. I got top 10. I got him top 10. I got Vitinha. Hold on. Vitinha, Kvaratskhelia, and then maybe João Neves.
I'll maybe put Doué ahead of Kvaratskhelia, mate.
No, I don't think so, bro.
But I understand you.
Kvaratskhelia. Because even in the first half of the season, he was the best player for Napoli.
Yeah, exactly.
Or with McTominay, them two, first half of the season.
No, that's why I'm with you. I get you. He still wins the quadruple too, Kvaratskhelia.
He does, yeah.
But man, for me, the two players, like Gyökeres should be in the top 30. Just want to state that also. But Nuno Mendes, man, what we saw, Nuno Mendes against Spain for me was the definition of a world-class performance from a left back. And 100%. I invite anyone in the comments section on TikTok, YouTube, anywhere, tell me one better performance as a left back in the last 3 years or 5 years than Nuno Mendes against Spain. That was insane. And the beauty of this is a 22-year-old from Sporting's academy that won the league with Sporting this decade. Not a lot of people can say that, all honestly, too. And he is playing with Ronaldo, and he assists, or, well, kind of an assist, to Cristiano Ronaldo to score that goal. That moment, it was just so beautiful, mate. So Nuno Mendes deserves this. Nuno Alexandre Tavares Mendes, we're both Alexes. I didn't know Nuno Mendes was also an Alex. Is now considered the best left back in the world. And yes, we agreed to disagree in the top 10. Would you put Nuno Mendes in the top 10 of the Ballon d'Or? Let us know, but I 100% will. And maybe it's my bias, mate. And maybe it's my bias. I think
top 10. Look, I think if you have him from 10 to 8, I don't think that's like too
I put him
ridiculous
top
to
5,
say.
man. I maybe to put it
See,
top
that's
5.
where I put him.
It's maybe I put him top 5 of the Ballon d'Or. Maybe, mates.
That's where I crossed the line, bro. But you know,
But for the sheer and my reasoning for putting Nuno Mendes in the top 5 of the Ballon d'Or is Saka, Salah, and Lamine Yamal all struggled against him and lowered their chances to win the Ballon d'Or when they faced him, and he won everything. He won everything domestically. So if a left back could ever do it, I think he's been the closest this decade to do so, to be in the top 5 of the Ballon d'Or. But let us know. It's an interesting talk down below in the comment section. Nations League, mate, it was a very interesting one. Portugal became the most decorated European team this decade with 3 trophies. Cristiano Ronaldo getting his 3rd trophy. It's always beautiful to see Cristiano Ronaldo just happy, with the national team. But Luca, I know you want to talk about Italy too, because we were once in that spot. Portugal was once in that spot. We didn't have the manager. We were a bit lost. But so, how are you feeling with the Azzurri, and what do you believe is the solution to fix this Italian national team? Ranieri, could he be a solution?
and he said no already. Well, he would have been a good solution, but the poor guy has come out of retirement like twice within the last few years, helping Cagliari, helping Roma. Now he's on the board of Rome, and I think he wants to stay there, chill, and it makes sense. I would have loved Ranieri as the Italian coach. To be honest, Alex, I think the problems in Italian football lie a lot deeper than just the manager, the players at the minute. For example, Spalletti was not good enough. That goes without saying. I think big issue, first of all, was they didn't sack him after the Euros. For me, when you barely beat Albania, obviously you lost to Spain, you got humiliated, you got killed in that game. The scoreline won't do it justice because we didn't have a single chance. I was there. Then the last game you got very fortunate against Croatia. Against Switzerland, we got battered. And he changed the team every game, changed the formation every game. This tells me, well, it told me at the time, and I said this in my videos last summer, that he doesn't know his players. He doesn't know his team. Then when I was looking at the call-ups, he doesn't call up Orsolini. Last season, he was one of the best wingers in Serie A. This season as well. This is the game's just gone was the first time he called up Orsolini, when he's one of the most dynamic, alongside Chiesa, who he hasn't called up once. I don't care if Chiesa's barely played for Liverpool. When you got Chiesa, who's still a game breaker, who's still our best attacker, alongside Orsolini, and you don't call either of them up ever, it's embarrassing. It's ridiculous decisions. And then in the game against Norway, how can, as an Italian, you go into the game and we're feeling like we're going to lose? It doesn't exist. Like against Norway, with all due respect, you cannot. That's when you know you're at an all-time low, when you don't expect anything. You expect to lose against Norway. No disrespect, of course. And then against the other day against Moldova, mate, playing a 5-back, genuinely, like they had a lot of chances. If they were a better team on paper, had better players, they would have definitely got something out of that game. We were very fortunate. So Spalletti had to go. But he should have gone last year, because Ancelotti should have been the Italian coach. We should not be in this situation where Ancelotti's coaching Brazil and not Italy. It was ridiculous. So now, looking at the Italian national team potential managers, I'm reading Gattuso, I'm reading De Rossi, I'm reading Pioli, I'm reading those 3 mostly, to be fair. But do you know who I want, Alex?
Who?
He's Italian. He's not Italian.
You don't want an Italian manager?
I'm against, in like most situations, I'm against the non-nation manager coaching that nation.
And Ancelotti became the first foreign manager to coach Brazil. That's what's mad.
But I want Jose Mourinho as the Italian coach.
Don't steal me Mourinho, man.
I want Mourinho,
Don't steal me Mourinho of Portugal.
I want Mourinho, man.
Hey,
if I could have any
coaching Italy,
I would love Mourinho. I would love him because
defensive style, Bastoni,
the defense,
Lorenzo,
the discipline. He's gonna get the best out of these players, the confidence. But the thing is, obviously, I think in Mourinho's mind, I think he wants to coach the Portuguese national team. So it's a question of.
It's a match.
But at the minute, they got you got a coach and you haven't sacked him. So I don't know, man. I would love Mourinho. I don't know how likely it is. But look, Alex, there's more problems. Gravina, the president, isn't very good. Like Italy don't promote young players in the Serie A. There's so many different issues with
I can see it, mate. I can see it. But that's the thing too. And this is something that a lot of people criticize Martinez as a manager being the choice. It's The manager of the national team reflects the manager situation in your own country too. Spain are with Xabi Alonso, Guardiola, Arteta, Luis Enrique, all the best managers in the world currently are the Spanish national teams. But there was a time Jose Mourinho was leading the way, and then André Villas-Boas is a young manager, and now there's Abel Ferreira, Ruben Amorim, Conceição could do a better choice in his next club. But he wins, man. He wins. He's a cup manager.
That's the thing.
Conceição, like, you can hate him, but he's going to be with a cigar as having a good time.
Yeah, he's got Milan this season, so you gotta give respect.
Would you get Conceição for the Italian national team?
He wouldn't be my number one choice, to be honest.
He played in Italy, mate. He played in Italy.
He knows Italian football well. To be honest, mate, if I had to choose an Italian, I would pick probably, out of all the ones available, probably Pioli.
Yes. He didn't work out at Al Nassr, yeah.
And he's a winner at the end of the day. He's won the league with Milan. He's won trophies. I think he could be a new breath of fresh air. I'm reading Mancini's willing to take the job back as well. I'm not too sure if we'd go back to Mancini. I mean, obviously, he did really good for us. Didn't qualify us for the World Cup after, but what he did for us originally was big. But do you know what it is, man?
Man.
I would just take...
If you steal us Mourinho, man, I'll be Luca. Oh, man. And you called it. You said in the past that Guardiola wanted Cambiaso, and all the news was saying that was like, that was all happening. And now you're calling. I could see Mourinho. He enjoys Italy, man.
I could see as well, man.
At Roma. He loves his time at Inter. Mourinho loves Italy. If you steal us Mourinho off Portugal one day, and I'm sorry, I know Roberto Martinez, we're both bold. We have a bold connection. But you don't go bold like Jose Mourinho. That's factual. You know, that's factual.
A fact. Mourinho's, for me, the number one, man. And the thing is, he's the, like you said, Alex, he's a serial winner. I'm just picturing him lifting a trophy potentially with Italy, capping off an incredible career. So
Samuel Ricci, Tonali, Frattesi. This is a midfield made for a Mourinho. This is not exuberant. This is a defensive style midfield that can always put a pin pass to the striker. So, it's just one of those. But since we're talking national teams, we talked about England in this podcast. World Cup 2026, the three favorites in your opinion are who? Spain, Argentina.
For sure. I would go them two, and then I think it's a bit of a. I'd probably put France in there, to be honest, because for me, I know, Portugal. I would put. I don't know, with Portugal. I just think, Alex. I hate to be negative, bro, but I can't see you winning a World Cup.
Mate, if there's any World Cup that I really can believe that we can lift it, it's the one in the States in 2026. Maybe I'm being a bit delusional, Luca, but it's the first time in my life that I really feel Portugal is a World Cup contender. Not just because of Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously, he guided this team towards believing it, but I believe Rodrigo Moura and Nuno Mendes, Vitinha, João Neves, Gonçalo Ramos, they all look at Ronaldo and they say, mate, we want you to win a World Cup one day. We want you to have 4 career trophies with Portugal, because Portugal, without Ronaldo, zero trophies in our legacy. With Cristiano Ronaldo, 3, and the World Cup, mate, I just, this midfield, man, if Martinez does not put João Neves at right back, okay, yeah, that's something that cannot happen. We're not winning the World Cup if João Neves is playing at right back. But if it puts João Neves, Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes will have something to prove also. Very curious to see how the season is going to be carried on with Man United next season. But João Neves, Vitinha, Nuno Mendes, this team, man, I really think on paper...
I do think you're a really strong team, Alex.
France, it's the manager. Who's coaching France? Is it going to be Deschamps?
I think, look, for me, Zidane will eventually take over as the French national team. There's no more likely manager succession than that, in my opinion. But it's a question of, will Deschamps leave before the World Cup, or will that be his last tournament for France? And France have obviously underachieved massively under Deschamps, I think. But with the players that they have, man, I still got to put them, for me, as one of the favourites. And the thing is, they got the heritage in the World Cup as well. That's the only thing with Portugal. They've never won the World Cup, so...
True. Imagine, let's see, Mbappe next season with Xabi Alonso wins the Champions League, wins the La Liga against Barcelona, and wins the World Cup with France. Hey, it's game over. He wins the Ballon d'Or.
Of course, The
expectations are there. And he's been embarrassed, not just by losing every direct game against Barcelona, but he's also embarrassed by the fact that PSG are a better team without him. They win the first Champions League without him.
Won the treble. So he's got a point to prove now.
it would be a PSG Real Madrid FIFA Club World Cup final, man. I think the stakes would be so high, and we would once again see Nuno Mendes owning another player. And it will be Salah, Saka,
I wouldn't be
Lamine,
surprised,
and
man. I wouldn't
and
be
then he gets
surprised.
the top 5 with the Ballon d'Or, my guy.
Maybe sixth.
This guy, man. It's because he's not Andrea Cambiazzo. Ay. But yes, I'm so happy here at the end. And Germany, mate. Isn't it strange? Brazil, now with Ancelotti, they could have a remontada with this rebuild. But Germany, we're talking here. They get a player. Third most expensive transfer ever in football, Florian Wirtz, 150 million, and we don't see Germany as a contender to win the World Cup. This is a strange times to be a German fan.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot of talented players, Alex, but I just don't think as a team and a system they're just there yet.
No strikers still. It's
That's the
Voltman.
thing.
That's Nick Voltman, man. Picture Crouch with skills.
It's more the Musiala and Wirtz that are going to cause problems, and obviously they're very similar players, but the goal scorer isn't there. I think losing Kroos as well. Obviously, Euros was his last campaign with Germany, big miss in the midfield. But on Wirtz's signing for Liverpool, obviously some massive signing, third most expensive in football history. I don't think he's worth that money personally.
What?
But nah, for me,
I think he was the best replacement possible for De Bruyne at Man City, and Liverpool still.
Yeah, look, Wirtz is one of the best players in the world, but for me, 150 million is. I just think prices in general are too absurd for footballers. Obviously, I understand Neymar's sort of transfer kind of changed everything and changed the dynamics of transfers. But I just think 150 is just like, it's a bit too much in my opinion. I think 100 million is really where he lies, in my personal opinion.
I agree in that sense, yes. And then you see Shirky for 35.
So yeah, this is the thing. Like, is he 5 times the player Shirky is? I don't think so.
He isn't.
I don't think
so. It's pure timing, because this is the best Leverkusen team ever, most possibly.
Yeah, so look, I think Wirtz, the thing is, obviously, he's got so much pressure on his shoulders. Genuinely, I don't think there's ever been a Premier League transfer ever with this much pressure. We're talking about Paul Pogba, who got ridiculed by the English media when he wasn't half as bad as they make him out to be. I want to see the same treatment for Wirtz. I want to see if he's not playing good, if he's not living up to the expectations, they better ridicule him the same way that they did to my boy Paul, because they crucified that guy for no real reason.
My guy Bruno. Bruno, that carries Man United season after season, and he gets hated. I see Bruno Fernandes. I see so much. It's Bruno.
You know how it is. Man, in England. So.
Oh, you might. But I think it's an incredibly good choice from Wirtz to go to Liverpool instead of going to Man City. And the reasoning why is because if Florian Wirtz would have won the Ballon d'Or at Man City, I think the most likely scenario would be Haaland winning it. Okay? I really think that. But if Florian Wirtz wins the Ballon d'Or with Liverpool, if Florian Wirtz wins the Champions League and has a really good campaign in the World Cup, being the main player of Germany, there's a good chance he can be a Ballon d'Or winner, in my opinion. And Liverpool, if they sign Isaac, I don't know if I told you 2 months ago about that, no? Alexander Isaac?
Yeah.
If they sign, I'm telling you, people, this is an exclusive from FC Wonderkid. Isaac is having talks with Liverpool. This is happening. I'm not saying it's going to happen this summer, but if Isaac is going to leave Newcastle, I can guarantee you it's to sign for Liverpool, that are going to sell Luis Diaz. They're going to sell Darwin Nunes. Diogo Jota, I hope he stays. But Isaac, Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kerkez. Mate, this is a team that is a contender to win the Champions League, a contender to win anything that they're in. So Real Madrid, 100%. FIFA Club World Cup, no Barcelona, no Liverpool. So they might as well do a good tournament in the FIFA Club World Cup, because next season in the Champions League, I don't know if it's going to be that easy, mate. I don't know if it's going to be that easy. Last thing I wanted to mention in the FC Wonderkid podcast, also being associated to go to Juventus, a lot more to Arsenal and United. Victor Gyökeres, how are things there? Talking in England about Victor Gyökeres, because here in Portugal, it's a bit of a mad one. I
saw he posted something on Instagram saying, like, when the time is right, I'm going to speak out or talk. I'm not really too sure what he's referring to on that situation, but I've heard also that him and his agents are a bit annoyed that Sporting want even more money than the original release clause or something like this, which
The
is
release clause is 100 million, but
not the release clause, the agreed fee or something.
exactly the agent and not Victor Gyökeres. The agent had a meeting with the president of Sporting and Hugo Viana, the current sporting director of Man City, the man who's making all these transfers happen like Shirky. They said there was a fee agreed that was below 100 million. Below. They just agreed that it was. He's not leaving for the release clause. That was what's promised by the sporting president, he said 2 days ago. So the entourage of Victor Gyökeres, through Fabrizio Romano, I don't know, is saying that Arsenal wants him, United wants him, United's calling Sporting. But what I know from Sporting, they haven't been contacted still. But they know about the interest, obviously. They know about the interest.
I read we're interested as well, isn't it?
And it's true. Juventus and Atletico de Madrid are two teams that are asking the price for Victor Gyökeres. And Atletico de Madrid, that would be a match made in heaven, man. It would be a match.
It makes sense, of course, yeah.
Made. And I think I've told you this on a podcast when we both did it, and I really wanted to end here with this. It's if Victor Gyökeres goes to Man United with Brian Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha, that is 50 Premier League goals that didn't happen last season. Okay, 50 Premier League goals guaranteed between these three players. That's what will happen, okay? So if it's 70, if it's 80, Man United pay the fee because Sporting never does a bad deal with Man United. And you might think Ruben Amorim was a bad deal, you cheeky person on the other side. But he will prove himself as a great deal with the right signings with his team. And let's think about Cristiano Ronaldo, Nani, Bruno Fernandes, obviously, yes. And now, if it's Victor Gyökeres, mate, he's the best sporting player I've ever seen in my life. I saw it as a final. I saw again against Porto. I've seen more than 30 games live of Victor Gyökeres in many environments. He shows up. He shows up in 102 games, 97 goals, 28 assists, Nations League top scorer. He's developed as a player. When he arrived at Sporting, he was not a starter for Sweden, guaranteed. Now he is. So as a man, he developed himself. We're all growing up. I'm the same age as Victor Gyökeres, and I'm starting to feel old. Okay, being 27. But I speak to you, Luca. You Wonderkid, man, and it's. And that's the thing, man. I really think him as a man, he's a different person. He appreciates Victor Gyökeres. He's 2 years at Sporting, but now's the moment. And Man United, please don't let it happen. If Arsenal get him, they might win the league, man. They might win the league, but I don't want to think about that. I don't want to.
I'm hoping we get him, man. I'm hoping we get him.
I think I really think Juventus would be a great fit for him because, especially with the Dusan Vlahovic, has so much expectations, man. Yeah. I think with Gyökeres, they would be a bit lower, but he would deliver double.
Yeah,
he would deliver double, man. And
I'm really hoping, man.
Convincing we need a big sign to return.
Who knows, man?
Kulu Gyökeres, Kenan Yildiz. And Chico Sesson. Will Chico stay at Juventus?
I hope so, man. I hope so. I think I'm reading because we got him on for the Club World Cup still. I think that's when Tudor will decide whether he wants to keep him or not. Because I like Conceição. I think he's a really good player, so I really hope we can keep him.
Man, Kenan Yildiz, Chico Sesson, Gyökeres.
It'd be a good
that sounds good. That sounds good. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. But yes, a bit of bias for some of you that just say, Portuguese league, this, that, and the other thing here at the end. But I had to talk about Gyökeres. Since the whole world now talks about Gyökeres. Fabrizio, just count the amount of tweets Fabrizio is going to do about Gyökeres in the next 2 weeks.
Well, what do you think about the people that say, Alex, that he can only do it really on the Portuguese league and Serie A, the Premier League is a lot different. He won't bag as well. How would you respond?
What do I tell you about Jonev? Gyökeres is one of these players. It's not for what he does on ball. It's for what he does off ball. Even in a game that Arsenal butchered Sporting. I saw that game live. It was not Victor Gyökeres' fault, okay? It's the team that he's in. It's the situation. We can all understand that. And the off-ball tenacity. Gyökeres is a leader by example. Gyökeres is a professional that when he goes to a locker room, he wants to be the most well-paid player there. He believes he's the best player there. That's the type of mentality. Locked in. He goes to Juventus. Juventus will be one of the biggest favorites to win the Serie A. I can guarantee you, mate, he will have that impact, that inspiration for the team. He goes to Arsenal, their biggest contenders. He goes to United. I really think United get top 4. He goes to Barcelona. He's the solution towards Lewandowski one day leaving. So many teams, I think, need a Victor Gyökeres, and he's in the right time. I hear so many people say, oh, if he was 22, 23 years old, I really want him then. Okay, you have more career years. Yes, understandable. But Arsenal and Arteta, it's not in 2-3 years that they need to win a trophy. Yeah. It's now. And it's a 27-year-old that wants to be compared with an Erling Haaland that is younger than him. This is the player. This is the player. And if Isaac is impossible, that I believe will be going to Liverpool, go 100% on him. I like Šeško too. Okay, I don't want to sound like a Šeško hater, this, that, and the other thing, but Šeško is not a better signing than Victor Gyökeres. Maybe Osimhen would be the solution. If United don't get Gyökeres, I think Osimhen would be the most guaranteed player to have like 20 Premier League goals. That's what they need. Yeah, for sure. You know, that's what they need. They had Bruno Fernandes, Amad Diallo, top scorers. They need a player that gets those 20 Premier League goals. And Delap, Chelsea, that can be a 20 Premier League goals player. Plays under Enzo Maresca, knows Cole Palmer extremely well. They played at Man City together, even with Romeo Lavia too. And the manager knows exactly what to do with him. So Delap might be next season starting to be considered the number 2 of the English national team, ahead of Ollie Watkins. So I think, look, football's really exciting, man.
100%.
Really exciting, man. And there's so many other players like a Carreras at Benfica. Honestly, another left back that I can guarantee you he's a very good player. Whoever gets him in the future, talk of Real Madrid. So if Real Madrid wants you, you're not a scrub. Dino Oysen now going to Real Madrid for 60 million. What's the transfer that you like the most out of this window here at the end, Luca?
It's a good question, to be fair, Alex. I'm probably most excited to see... No, that one just annoys me. That one annoys me. Obviously, I hope Dean does well and everything. I wish him the best, and I think he's going to do really, really well. But it just obviously annoys me a lot. I don't know. You know, I like Mastantuono to Real Madrid. I just want to see how he does, man. That one's the most. I would say I'm most curious about that signing.
The most curious, I am going to say, Portuguese bias once again here at the end. Gabri Veiga to Porto, because Gabri Veiga, when he went to Al Ahly, Tony Kroos even tweeted saying embarrassing, this should never happen type beat, you know what I mean? Going from La Liga, Celta de Vigo at the time, to Al Ahly. But he leaves now, the Saudi Arabia, with more than 30 million in the bank. And he's got the Asian Champions League. He's the Asian Champions League winner. He won it. So it was a good career choice. He's 23 now. He's going to start for Porto.
Still Now's very young, yeah.
Exactly. And he's a millionaire. Multi-millionaire.
So he's chilling.
Exactly. But he's chilling with, I believe now, with the expectation of being a Spanish national team player. Because the Porto move is a very smart move. I think he's reduced the salary 90%. But it's with the expectation of one day achieving top-level football. We saw that with Nico Gonzalez. We saw that with Luis Diaz. They go to Porto briefly, and after 2-3 seasons... And the best player out of all, Radamel Falcão. Radamel Falcão. That's the only player I put on par as strikers that I've ever seen in the Portuguese league. Radamel Falcão and Gyökeres are the top 2. Third, Jonas, obviously. Jonas was
you have to put respect on his name as well.
But Falcão and Gyökeres, whoosh, one step above everyone else. Golden Boot winners. But yes, if you're listening to us until now here, the FC Wonderkid podcast, like on YouTube, 5 stars on Spotify, follow us on Apple Podcasts. It's such a big help. And yes, thank you so much, Luca, JFTV Luca, for going bold. Make sure you follow all the socials that will be in the description of Luca, Instagram, TikTok. Just going bold, as he always does. I always like to hear Luca talk about football. Not just Juventus, Serie A, anything, Real Madrid. Great opinions like you saw in the podcast. So, Luca, thank you for once again being here at the FC Wonderkid podcast, episode 32. And thank you, listeners, for being here until now and going bold with us. Good luck for Juventus against Man City.
Thank you, Alex. We're going to need it. Cheers, guys.